hello, we're back. And of course, even as we take a break, our discussions here in the studio just continue. Before we go into all those other issues of the current events that have just unfolded just last week and the week before, I'd like to push a little further on the CNG, the Citizen National Guard, when it comes to the political coming together, assuming there will be an election and or a federal constituency. Where is the Citizen National Guard when it comes to that?
Well, when as a movement, this question always comes up. I say, what's next?
Oh, nga eh.
What's next? Well, we have to, when we address this issue, of course, the good answer is all the time, we'll keep on growing. We'll keep on touching and getting people to internalize these ideas. And we continue that. That doesn't stop at all. No? But politically, what's next? Well, because of the threats that's going on the president's life and on his administration, and people from the enemies of the state threatening precisely to get rid of him, no? And probably doing so as we speak now. What else can we do?
Yes.
Well, and people in our organization have insisted that we make ourselves politically known. There are people that shy away from politics mainly because it is really, because of its nature of being abhorrent. You don't like to get into politics because of the way
because of the personal gain.
Right.
Yung nangyayari sa mga politicians
because
natin.
that is the image that we've had. And the counter to that, and we discuss this and we say, yes, but you're going to have to get in. No?
You have to, yes.
And open this up and try to change the way the game is played. No? And so that people will listen to your ideas rather than look at personalities.
Which is the way we have today.
Yeah. Right now, our politics is personality-based all the time. No? And you can look at all of these parties that they have. They can't define an economic policy, a foreign policy, an education policy, a cultural, nothing. No. But they look at personalities.
And they work with what those personalities
and how
offer.
much these persons have.
Yes.
The leaders of that party, how much should they have so that I can make money out of them and get into politics myself? We're going to have to change that game.
How?
Okay.
So political representation,
well,
participation.
What is it? Yes, but the point here is Duterte came into this
wala siyang political party.
Wala siyang political party. He was a mayor, of course. Of course, he had some politics, but
local lang, yeah.
And he came in with strange ideas, almost to the point of me, I have to admit, I was telling myself, this guy doesn't want to become president.
Yeah.
This guy doesn't want to run because everything he's saying is repulsive.
Yes, it is. It was.
Yeah, but yet,
yeah, I know. Ako rin
what happened here?
Nabigla
ako. The phenomenon that we saw here was that we were looking at him from our eyes.
Yes.
Not from the eyes of the people.
Yes.
The people who could see somebody different. They saw in him a possibility of major changes to be made. No? Never mind the kissing of the women, never mind it. But they saw in him some things that will make their life change, right? And on what? On ideas. His was just an idea. He said, padamihin nyo na yung mga ospital tsaka semeteryo dahil maraming mamamatay dyan. Di ba? Sinabi niya yun no? Tapos kung ano-ano pa sinasabi niya, no? And so, he said, talagang galit ito sa corruption, sa criminality,
sa drugs.
Sa drugs. So, nandun. Things that we didn't see, they saw. And with the same trust in the common sense of the people, the collective sense of the Filipino people, I think maybe if we have a party that could project ideas that will stimulate them, that will inspire them, no, to continue not just what Duterte may have started, no, but even expand it. No, if we're able to do that, no,
So the very
then we might be
basics,
able to
actually,
do change.
which is exactly the points of the CNG. A population policy,
Right.
a foreign affairs policy,
Yes.
with, yeah, economic policy,
Yes.
you know.
And we can actually go into a sit down and ask for them, what is your program?
Ayun.
Define your program and we'll define ours.
So do you think the CNG will evolve into a political party?
Yes, actually it's in the process of evolving. No? As we speak
Yes,
now, I
yes.
have to tell you that there is already a party that has been formed, registered,
Registrado na?
approved by COMELEC and everything with all the licenses. I can show it to you.
Yeah. Now, what's hit the news in the current events last week? Mayor Sara Duterte, the daughter, has formed her own.
Yeah.
I mean, to the surprise of everyone else. And it's taken everyone by surprise by even instituting the Speaker of the House, GMA, coming in from nowhere and actually garnering the trust and the confidence, if not the approval of the other representatives. How will that play out with the CNG?
Well, if they're going to be a national party, because they're still trying to decide whether they'll stay
Local, yeah.
regional
Regional,
or
yeah.
national. No? If they're going to be a national party, no, it is
They
best
better start outlining
they
their
start
and focus.
coming up with a national program. No? And they have the material. If they've got the people there, they have the material to come up with it. No? And if it does not differ from ours, no,
Then there's no need. I mean, why just unite?
yes, we could of course
Yes.
go. But if it differs, of course,
Yeah, of
we
course.
will have to. Now, because what we're going to do is sell the ideas to the people, and let the people decide. That's the way democratic systems.
How do we
supposed to be
handle people like Christian Munsud and the other detractors, you know? Yung mag-asawa na yun, you know? They're supposed to be learned, and yet they distract from the national unification. And they, you know, they get together, even the Supreme Court judge, not Puno, the
Davide.
other, Davide,
Davide.
who come out in the open and say otherwise.
Well-
I mean, parang self-proclaimed important people, learned people, self-proclaimed, and say that this is right and this is wrong. And yet no one voted for them,
Well,
except
that's-
for major
that's-
broadcast media who promote them.
But that's your answer. You answered your own question. How do we handle them? No one voted for them.
None.
No one actually listens to them.
But they're on major broadcast channels.
The same
And they're-
thing.
yeah.
The same thing. Nobody was listening to. The major broadcast channels were trying to avoid Duterte up to now,
Up to now.
but his popularity rating is still up in the 80s, right? So it's what the people want and what they're doing right now. We're in a process of revolution, right? I am not necessarily for or against the so-called federalism or parliament.
I know
versus
that.
this, because I've got to internalize everything that might happen. My only real initial comment about these proposals that there is the economics. You see, but again, without
But the economics
digressing.
ongoing, it seems it's failing. Train 1 was the pain.
Yeah.
Train 2 is supposed to be, for example, the reduction finally of corporate income tax.
Yeah.
In the,
But you see-
and the implementation of Train 1 has long been delayed and obviously cannot be,
Yeah.
it's not being
They're
implemented.
thinking that if they reduce the taxes to the corporations, more foreign investment will come in. That is what they're thinking. It's not going to come that way. The way to do and invite foreign investment is you must have the infrastructure capable of attracting the real foreign investors. I mean the people that can actually go into manufacturing.
Yeah, manufacturing
production,
dapat,
so on
yes.
forth. Now, they're not addressing the most important infrastructure that will attract
Steel.
foreign investors. Before you can have steel, you must have energy.
Energy.
You must have the energy which is cheap, reliable, efficient,
Yes,
and
yes.
clean, no?
Correct.
To power that steel plant,
Correct.
right?
Correct.
In order for them to
To
come
produce.
in.
Yes, yes.
The same
yes.
thing with fertilizer and so on and so forth. But they refuse to talk about energy. Why? Because the energy sector is controlled by the oligarchy. That oligarchy, which is doing everything
To hold it, yeah,
to
to hold
hold it
everything
via
back.
the EPIRA, no? Because it is a big milking cow for them.
Yes.
No? And it is from there that they're getting all of the resources to be able to say, oh, we will invest in this other infrastructure. But they're coming from energy. No? That one which is not being touched by the Department of Energy. That one which has not been directly attacked by the President. No? And this
I think
is,
we've just identified who the enemies of the state are. But yes, go ahead.
you see, and to me, especially the energy sector, is a national security risk as of now. They hold, the oligarchy holds all of the public utility
Right now,
areas
yes.
right now, and most especially energy and water. The most important things for us to be able to live comfortably. They control it. They control our lives. No?
Yes, they do.
And that's why it's a national security risk. It's not they who should control our
So
lives.
do you think the president going after some of the oligarchs is way not enough? You've got to, they're also in politics. The oligarchs are already well established in politics.
yeah.
They already have representation. So what, with the new ombudsman, maybe we can look at changes, improvements?
My feeling is the president has to realize the impact of this and how he's not going to be able to do what he wants to do for the people for as long as the oligarchy are in control of our lives. No? They are in control, not just of our lives, but of the government.
Yes, the government. How do you attack the oligarchy and take them down? I mean, just in a broad sense,
Okay.
as a
Look
broad
at-
strategy.
Look at Trump. Trump is fighting the oligarchy,
He is.
right?
He's actually succeeding.
His kind of oligarchy is a little different. It's actually much bigger.
Yeah.
Right? And historically, what they've been controlling, because
Well, now he's going after the Rothschilds.
yeah, Federal Reserve. He wants
Yeah,
a national control, which is correct.
Which is, you've always said that.
I've always said that.
10
no?
years ago, I
It should
remember.
be government that
Yes.
should control
The Federal Reserve,
Federal
not the
Reserve,
Rothschilds,
not,
yes.
not the private,
Not the private
banks.
side.
Now he's going after, and that's why I said we should celebrate this guy.
Yeah.
Now, in the same respect, now when he goes after them, of course his life is being threatened.
Of course.
Right? In our case, our deep state or our
Yeah.
our problem of that is our oligarchy right now. We created this in 1986 in the revolution because that was their entry point into taking over the country. Now that is what's going to happen. The train law, by the way, is going to open up Filipino businesses to foreign businesses, right? And a certain Republic Act, which has been dormant since 2014, will be taking effect. It's allowing foreign banks to operate in the Philippines. This law was passed during Noynoy Aquino's time, surreptitiously. No debates, very quiet. Passed from the lower house, went into the
Mabilis.
Senate. It stayed there for 2 days, then went immediately to Malacanang for signing. Nobody knew about it here. Our media didn't know about it, but Wall Street was celebrating. And my friend from the United States called me and says, "What did you guys do? Why? What did you do?" Wall Street is celebrating that you guys opened up your country to foreign banks. I said, "What?" He said, "Well," so we started digging around, and true enough, there was a Republic Act that was passed, it passed within less than 2 weeks from the time it was promulgated
Introduced.
to the time
Mabilis.
signed by the president. No debates. Why is that dangerous? Because the banks are the conduits to looting. You know, how do they do it? You put up a foreign bank here, they will start buying local corporations in mining specifically, those that are
Lucrative.
holding our own natural resources, and all other lucrative businesses, they will hold it. Once they own that, because they will have the resources to own it and buy into it, they will securitize this and start selling it in Wall Street. Overnight, you don't own your country anymore.
It's run by different interests now.
That is the danger of train law too. But the law, which is allowing foreign banks to operate, is already there. Nandiyan na, pero dormant. They did not immediately implement it during Noynoy's time. See? But again, without digressing, these are the things that are threatening the sovereignty of the country. No? That's why the CNG is so important. And that's why in order to be able to debate, we must participate in the political arena.
We have to be in there, yes.
And good enough that we're able to register a party early enough, and that we, a national party, this is not a party list.
Yeah.
This is a party which, in the level of KDP, PDP Lapan and so on and so forth, it's called KDP. Our party is called KDP. Katipunan ng Demokratikong Pilipino. League of Filipino Democrats. Na? Katipunan ng Demokratikong Filipino.
And registrado, registrado.
Registrado to. You can check it out.
Yeah.
We have our numbers and so on and so forth, licenses. And now, do we have candidates? We have what you call potential candidates, right? Some of them know that they're potential candidates. Others have not yet been informed. No? We're going to wait a little bit more, until maybe at some point when we have a press conference, maybe sometime end of August or first week September.
You're cutting it close because assuming there is an election.
Yes, but regardless of whether there's an election or not, we're going to come out as a political party. And for whatever. It is sad that that there's this debate about these issues. But we cannot wait for the results of the debate. We have to assume that
it's going to go through.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the right position to take.
And so we're moving that way. And I think because the parties are themselves killing each other, and they're
it's an opportune time to come in. Right now, the bigger political parties are deteriorating.
It's the best time to come in with an intention of changing the whole political ferment. And maybe get rid of politicians that are soiled, whose hands have been soiled by graft and corruption.
That's quite interesting. Butch, we're going to have to end the show. I am alarmed about the banking system, and see, every time you come on the show, you bring on something that is new, and actually I'm more alarmed about it coming in from 2014. As expected, the Noynoy administration has not only fumbled and gambled the country towards the road towards perdition, it seems they're hell-bent on ruining and bringing us down. A quick exit message.
Well, these are very interesting times, but these interesting times will give us also the opportunity to get into the minds and hearts of the Filipino people that maybe this might be our last chance. With a strong president like President Duterte, and the collective will of all of those that have become patriotic in their love for country, maybe together we might be able to make the changes needed that will be long-lasting, and it will survive any kind of president for the future.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you've been watching, you'll know what I mean when we bring up issues to you. It's not a matter of declaring or just saying it out and announcing. It's the ability to understand, to comprehend exactly where we're going and why we're going, how we're going to get there. So many changes and so much activity in the last week, just in Congress alone, and the changing of the guard, so it seems, when it comes to legislation, between train 1 and 2 or a train wreck, whichever way. Now, the funny part is these are done by the economic managers of the very president we support. Now, whichever way it goes, there's going to be a lot of movement between now, August, September, October, because soon it'll be the registration of all the politicians that wish to stay on, especially the representatives of the many oligarchs. And media, which has become problematic rather than news reporting, have become influencers, so to speak. And the proponent towards fake news. So be informed, stay with us, watch, and participate. The Citizens National Guard, you can go on the web and identify it, CNG. Register. It's quite simple. Learn more, know more, be part of it, and do your part as a citizen. But then again, if you are a foreigner, please do not participate. Tsaka yung mga nag-Amerikano, Australiano, I mean, come on, get out of here, di ba? Sa amin to, amin to, problema namin to, huwag kayo sumali. Salamat po. Hindi, I mean...